Once upon a time, in a little house surrounded by tall trees, there lived a little girl who was very curious. She loved to explore every nook and corner of her house, especially her grandmother's room. It was filled with all sorts of interesting things, but her favorite was a big wooden chest which always stayed locked. One day when her grandmother went to fetch some dried herbs from the garden, the little girl took her chance and opened the chest. Inside, tucked between old books and yellow letters, she found a soft woolen scarf, wrapped it around her shoulders and felt a strange tingling sensation all over her body. The room started to shimmer, and when the little girl opened her eyes, she found herself in a beautiful field full of colorful wildflowers. Startled, she quickly looked around and saw a little girl around her age picking flowers. "Who are you?" asked the little girl. "I am your grandmother," replied the girl, smiling brightly. Then she noticed the scarf around her new friend's shoulders and asked, "Where did you get that scarf?" "I found it in my room," said the little girl. "But this scarf isn't from your time," said her grandmother. "It's mine." And with that, she took the scarf from around the little girl's shoulders and tied it around her own. In a flash, they were both enveloped in a warm, golden light, and when it faded, the little girl found herself back in her grandmother's room. At first, she thought it must have all been a dream, but then she saw the scarf lying on the floor. Picking it up, she could feel the same tingling sensation again and closed her eyes, hoping to return to the magical field. When she opened her eyes, she found herself sitting next to her grandmother on a nearby hill. "Oh, I knew you'd come back," said her grandmother, chuckling. "Would you like to spend some time with me here?" "Of course," said the little girl, and together they spent a wonderful afternoon collecting wildflowers, chasing butterflies, and playing in the fields. Then they went to visit a little village where her grandmother bought some fresh berries and sweet bread for a poor woman who had hurt her leg and couldn't go to the market. The little girl wanted to help too, but her grandmother stopped her. "You're too small to help, my dear," she said. "One day you will be all grown up and can help anyone in need. For now, you just enjoy being my friend." And so the little girl spent the whole day being her grandmother's friend, listening to her stories and helping her in any way she could, like picking berries or carrying a basket. They laughed and played until the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. Then it was time for the little girl to go home. Hugging her grandmother tightly, she promised to come back soon. Back in her own time, the little girl placed the scarf back in the wooden chest, knowing that whenever she wrapped it around her shoulders, she could return to a wonderful day spent with her grandmother. From that day on, whenever she felt sad or lonely, she put on the scarf and spent time with her grandmother in the past, learning about the strong, kind, and brave woman she was. And as the years passed, the little girl grew up knowing that her grandmother wasn't just an old woman who told stories, but a young girl once who had loved and laughed and helped others. She realized that even though her grandmother might not be with her all the time, she would always be with her in her heart, in her memories, in her stories, and in the magical scarf that connected their two worlds. One day, when the little girl was all grown up, she told her friends about the magical scarf and her adventures with her grandmother in the past. Her friends listened in awe, and then one of them asked, "But how can you still have your grandmother's scarf? I thought you said it was in a wooden chest." "I do have it," said the little girl, smiling. And I am going to keep it forever because it reminds me of the most important thing in life, to always stay curious, kind and brave, just like my grandmother.